Greetings from the Broca Beach Club! This video is episode 12 of our first season, a review of the rare second series Madelman 2050 figures from 1989. If you haven't seen our other videos, especially the first, second and third episodes, you might want to do so before watching this one. The link is throughout this video and in the description. If you already know what the first series Madelman 2050 figures and who the C.O.T.A men and the Zarkon are, then please continue to watch. You are in for a treat. The Broca Beach Club vault is now open. Madelman 2050 was a short-lived action figure line made by EXIN in Spain. It only lasted 2 years, being cancelled in 1989. While the first series was released in part in Greece, the second series was sold exclusively in Spain. It was made in significantly fewer numbers than the first series from 1988, because the plug was pulled on the line before the majority of the product planned for 1989 was made and released. These figures are incredibly rare. Not eBay auction rare, but truly rare. The good news for collectors is that only 4 new figures were released in 1989, with the rest being the same figures from 1988, placed in new packaging. The bad news is that 2 of the figures were exclusive to a vehicle, the Clone Star. Much like the figures, the second series vehicles are very, very rare, but we will be reviewing them in future videos. In the present episode, we will cover only these 4 new figures. We will begin our review with Alactro Lagard. While this figure features new colors, it reuses tooling from a combination of all Series 1 Zarkon figures, Reptis, Saurius, Lagard, and Serpion. It is also the same character as Lagard, leader of the first Zarkon strike unit, but donning a new suit and manning the Alactro attack wing. Like all other Zarkons, he possesses the Zarkon Force, and when a C.O.T.A man faces him, his true reptilian face is revealed because of interaction with the C.O.T.A man's Magnetron Force. The Alactro attack wing comes with a weapon that swivels on the dorsal aspect of the wing, which is attached through a peg and is removable. The peg is made in the same size as the handles of the accessories of all Madelman 2050 figures, so that the figure can use it as a personal weapon. The wing also included plastic stickers of the same Zarkon symbol included with Saurius for his sled drill. They were the same size, colors, and material. The C.O.T.A men saw release of their leader manning a flying wing as well. Zan was released as Deltox-Zan in 1989 in Darman's body recolored orange with gray accents, and with him came the Deltox Air Amphibious Monowing. Like the first series C.O.T.A men figures, the second series figures also possessed the Magnetron Force. They had magnets on their feet and the magnet in their chest to interact with the Zarkon figures. Here's a comparison of Zan, Darman, and Deltox-Zan. This is one of the holes in my collection, and I can only show Deltox-Zan to you from the pictures in the packaging and the few images taken from the Magnetron Universe, a book about Madelman 2050 by David Sullivan and Jose Guerrero. Stay tuned through the end of this episode for an exciting announcement regarding this book. The remaining 2 new figures in Series 2 were actually produced mostly with new tooling. They were the C.O.T.A men Clone Man Alpha and Clone Man Beta, and were literally part of a vehicle, the Clone Star. Because we will review the Clone Star in detail in our next episode, we will only review the figures now. Alpha and Beta are the same figure in the sense that they share a mold, which reinforces that the characters are clones. Alpha was painted green with blue accents, while Beta had the inverse color pattern. They both had gray boots and a vacuum-chromed jetpack, which is not removable, at least not without removing a screw. But then the figure would be left with a gaping hole in its back if the jetpack were removed. The jetpack becomes part of the fuselage of the Clone Star, as will be seen in episode 13. The clonemen didn't just pilot the Clone Star, they literally became part of it. Both clonemen came with a gray weapon that snapped onto their wrists, shaped like a triangular shield with twin cannons near the apex. Clear plastic stickers of the Greek letters Alpha and Beta were provided with the Clone Star to be placed on their backs. The articulation of the clone men is reduced by 1 point compared to other Madelman 2050 figures. They do not have a waist swivel. Their legs are still attached with the same part that replaces the O-ring and metal T-hook system, except theirs has a hole in the middle, through which passes a tube that holds it in place. In other Madelman 2050 figures, the piece is held in place by slots on the waist piece, but this is not possible in the Cloneman because the torso and waist are one single part. Otherwise, their articulation is the same. Legs go up and down, and can rotate out. Knees bend, arms swivel up and down, shoulders hinge out, elbows hinge up, and head swivels. The remaining figures released in 1989 were the same 4 Zarkons and 4 C.O.T.A men released in 1988, with the same accessories and the same mini-comic, the Zarkon Invasion. The only difference was that the blisters and card were redesigned to meet a new advertising law in Spain. The illustrations by Don Rafael Lopez Espí were removed and replaced with a simple drawing of the figure. The blister's inner bubble was replaced with a thermoformed inner bubble in the shape of the Madelman M, which was orange for the Zarkons and white for the C.O.T.A men. The comic was no longer flat inside a fold-over blister card, but was rolled and placed next to the figure and accessories inside the blister bubble. The images of the carded second series figures are reproduced from the book The Magnetron Universe with permission from the authors. Madelman 2050, The Magnetron Universe, is a wonderful book, full of detailed information about Madelman 2050 and high-definition photographs. It contains not only images of all figures and vehicles released in the line, carded, boxed, and loose, with all accessories, but also reproduces the mini-comics and contains the history of the development of the line, names of designers, mini-comic creative team, etc. This is information that was not widely documented or known before the publication of this guide. It contains reproductions of EXIN catalogs, order sheets, and many other ephemera that both the fanatic collector and casual fan of Madelman 2050 are sure to appreciate. Only 200 copies were available in Spain in the original Spanish, and it has never been available outside that country in any language. But don't fret, we will be bringing it to the English-speaking world in 2025. Spread the word! We will be crowdfunding an English version of this great book, in which we have translated even the mini-comics for your enjoyment. Coming soon! Please like and subscribe to this very YouTube channel, and make sure to hit the bell so you don't miss the upcoming announcement of the crowdfunding campaign. You do not want to miss this opportunity to get your hands on the English edition of the book. We will print on demand to meet the number of backers and will not keep any extra stock. We have no plans for future print runs. See you in 2 weeks for the review of the clone stock. As always, thank you for watching.